And let's start editing. All right, so let's come out of that and let's start editing. So I have some files set up in Grandkids Day at the Museum. Let's see what that looks like. And those are my grandkids. So let's go to this view. So this is the thumbnail view. We'll go over thumbnail views. This is the thumbnail view. So if I want to make my thumbnail size larger, there we go. That way I can cull through them and rate them. So do I like this one? Yes, I do. So as you can see here, this is the Nikon Z6 II. This is a RAW file. And as you can see here, it focused on her eye like it was supposed to. Let's make that a little bit larger. View. Thumbnail size. Maximum. All right, it focused on her eye. That's my grandkids. And this one, it focused on her head. And I basically want to use that same way with this one. This is my wife. It focused on her eye like it was supposed to. And this one, I use single point autofocus. This one, single point autofocus. And that's how you can tell by the box. Now, some of these didn't expose right, but that's the reason why we have NX Studio to correct them. So what we're going to do, we're going to edit some photos. So let's start. Let's go over this. This is custom picture control, pixel shift. Let's go to edit video, other apps, slideshow, print, upload, export. These are already available in the menu right here. All right, let's go over this side. So if you noticed, if you want to get the full view, you can always close this window. So that way you have a full range. So remember these on the side, these boxes. So you can open and close the palettes. So look at that, very convenient. Same thing with this if you want to view it full screen and rate your photos ahead of time. So let's go ahead and rate these. So this is how I do it. I rate my photos ahead of time. Let's see what I want to get. See which ones I want to edit today. So I'm going to rate them first. And this is part of the culling process. So which one of these? We're going to pick one of these just for the fun of it. This is my day at the museum with my grandkids. And let's see here. Which one do I like out of this? This is a video. You can tell this is a video by the camera right here. And this is a raw file. Now you're wondering, why are all your files raw? Well, I shoot in raw because raw lets you control the noise and you have more range to edit the colors. Nikon cameras have good color science, and that's why I choose Nikons. So here, that's a movie. So what I'm going to do with these files is I want to try to save them and bring them from darkness, because when you're at the museum, sometimes your camera tells you it's exposed, but sometimes it's not. And that's the beauty of a camera. So also, you can use this slider right here to make them bigger or smaller. See? Right here. So there's different ways to do the same thing. There we go. And let's bring that back and let's go to the view. You can view the thumbnail list that gives you the shutter speed and other information. Right. You can switch to image viewer. And what else they'll do is it'll let you view a single image. This is compare, where you can pick another photo down at the bottom. You can pick 4 photos from here. You can pick them from different swatches. So I want to show the film strip down at the bottom. So we want it horizontal. And so There we go. That's what I needed. I want to show it at the bottom, so that way I can select it and it'll process in there. And then on this box, if I want to show this photo, I can put it in there and you get it. You get it, right? I want to put that in there, and it works the same way with this compare view, see? And then I can just pick and choose which one. So if I want to compare it to this one, I can do so. So let's see. I took these seconds apart. I made a video about this. And as you can see, these were snapped seconds apart, 36 millimeter. And if you notice right here, the exposure was different. The auto ISO exposed this at what, 4,700 Kelvin, and this one at 4830 Kelvin. See the difference? It looks subtle, but the camera did two different things in a exposure seconds apart. Let's see, let's look at the histogram. Histogram looks a little different for the same photo. Okay, so let's come out of that view and let's edit just one photo. To start the editing portion of this video, we'll start with this one. So look at that. Isn't that a nice photo? So let's see what the settings were for this one. 24 millimeters, auto ISO 1600 and 4900 Kelvin. And so I want to get rid of this window right here, and I want to enlarge. That looks good. I click it again and then it zooms back out. And so let's edit this one. So let's pick, let's first adjust the exposure. See that's histogram move. Where do I want it? Right here. So I'm going to remove this. I'm going to remove the focus point. There we go. I just removed the focus point. All right, I no longer need that. I'm where I need to be. So this is the raw photo, so you can adjust the color temperature to suit your needs. There we go. And if you want to undo it, all you have to do is click that to undo it, and that makes this NX Studio non-destructive, which means that once you make an edit, you can always undo it instantly. And that is the great thing about NX Studio, is if you make an edit and it doesn't look right to you, you can always undo it. See, then you can bring it back. My edit is back. All right, so I got the exposure compensation. Let's go down the line. Active D-Light, and some of these features are only available for raw files. So original file, let's see what D-Lighting does. High, see how that brightened up? It gave you an additional lighting. And let's see if we need to adjust the brightness. Ooh, that's too much. So I'm liking that. Do I need some contrast? That makes it look HDR like, doesn't it? So let's send it back to 0. Now, I always like to have a little saturation in my photos. So here we go. Let's go back up to picture control. I'm sorry. Picture compatible. So right here, you can change in the picture control. You can change it to auto. Let's see what it does for auto. That's what it does for auto. And I'm going to do, let's change to auto, and I'm going to do, let's see what standard looks like. That's what standard looks like. Neutral. vivid. So if you don't like to edit, you can always choose one of these picture controls. And these are only available raw, not JPEG. Monochrome, if we want to make it look old school. Portrait, landscape, let's see what landscape looks like. Oh, landscape looks lovely. So we're going to keep that one at landscape. Next, we're going to add a little saturation. If you notice on the brightness, landscape setting, gave it a little. So be subtle with the sliders. Yes, I love that. That's great. Highlight protection is just protects the background. So if you're in a sunny, see how it protects it. So shadows, if you have something in the shadows and you want to bring it out, notice how the shadows change. And I don't want to touch the D-lighting. And let's go down here to the levels and curves. And as always, if you don't like something, you can always undo it. Now you can bring it back and it's there again. So levels and curves, this is for more advanced users, or if you just want to make your photos just that more vibrant. So basically what you can do is you can use the eyedropper tool to pick a color and do that. See? And do that. And see how I changed the style of the photo? And now if I want to undo it, I just do that. And here we go. This is the chroma. This is for more advanced users also. And basically you can change the sliders to change certain colors in the photo. Say you can change the curve. So if you have red, you can change the reds to make it more violent, uplifting. Notice that. And there's, what's that, purple right there. That's slider. So see, I changed the curves and gave the picture a little bit more oomph. And you can vary the width. Notice how I varied the width of that change. Notice how it's brightening up the walls. See, it livened up the walls instantly. See how that's a different photo already? Color booster, you can use color booster if you just want to add a little bit more to your photo. Notice that, and all it's going to do is just change the curves a little bit. Notice that, color booster, great. I'll also do a portrait photo so that way you can see what it does for portraits. And noise reduction. So this is what most users need with these type of low light photos. Now the Nikon Z6 II is a great low light camera. So when you're at 1600 or 3200, there's less grain in the photos. So you really don't have to worry about grain as much with the Nikon Z6 II. Now the Nikon Z9 in this same situation would probably have a little bit more grain. But notice how it has less grain in the photos. But if you're like me and you're a stickler for noise reduction, you can adjust the amount to, let's start with low. Let's see, didn't do anything, barely did anything. Did you notice anything? Let's do normal. Let's do high. And what it does is it just takes the grain out of the photos. So let's do it at 200%. And that's grain right there. But it's at 200%, so it's nominal. So there we go, right there. And it also has edge noise reduction. And right there. And what what you do is you just play around with that. And sharpness is great for when your photos, you know, you just need a little bit more, especially on if it's a person and you just need or you want to sharpen the details. See how I sharpen this? Notice how it's sharpening? See, it starts out a little shady. And then if you want to sharpen the details of the skeleton of the dinosaur, so people get more detail. And it goes all the way down here. And the touch up is basically for portraits. And there are other controls down at the bottom, and it keeps going and it keeps going. And see all those options? So we can go here and we can use the crop tool, or you can use the crop tool up here. So if we just want to crop this, hit enter. Sorry. View, and there's your new photo. And it is cropped. If you want to undo it, you're back to your previous photo. There you go. And you have the option to straighten. This is the straighten tool. It's also available up here. And these are just quick options. And here are the camera corrections. I'm sorry, I skipped over perspective control. So perspective, I'm studying. So I skipped over perspective control. So this basically just, as you can see, just change it to perspective. So send that back to 0. Gonna undo that. That's basically an undo. Camera correction. So if you have a camera lens and you want to correct some things, like if it's got a moire on the edges due to you using like an off-brand lens, then you can fix it here if it has moire low. And these are basically professional settings. Image dust off is if you have to have a suitable dust off reference photo, and that's just if your lens had dust on it and you want to correct it. Lens correction, lateral color aberration, and this just helps you fix any problem. Vigente control, diffraction compensation, and these are more advanced user corrections on this down at the far end. Say that's the reason why they're at the bottom. They're for the advanced users. So as you can see, NX Studio is a great program. I have other videos on certain sections. They're older, but they serve a basic purpose, and I will list those throughout the video. So let's go to the info. So the information, it will show you the time and the date the photo was taken, the file size. It will also show you whether it was raw, 14-bit, and I have my copyright information on this photo. And usually you want to put that in your camera when you set it up. If you haven't set it up already, you can also put it in NX Studio. You can put that information in, and then it shows my exposure of f5, shutter speed 125 seconds, manual. I shoot in manual. That's the only way to go is manual. I'm an event photographer, so that's what I do. And I shot it in standard. And this is the other data, and this is where you can add your information, description, dinosaur. So if you event, kids, And you can just put your information in here. And my name is Hughes-Stanton. If you don't know that already, that's the name of my channel, is Hughes-Stanton Photography. Oops. Let's change that. And you can add this to the photo also, additional information. I'm not going to do it all, but as you can see, you can add your own information to your photos. It's always the best thing to add this information, especially if you're posting online to social media, so that way you get full credit for your photo and you don't have to worry about someone stealing it, because that's rampant. Because what will happen is, if you post a collection of photos and someone actually likes it, they'll sell it to a stock photo site. And then next thing you'll know it, your photos on the stock photo site with their copyright information. And then it's hard to prove it's not yours. So always add the data to your photos. If you need any more help with NX Studio, you can always go to the help site and you can view the reference manual. And this is NX Studio Help, and you can download the product manuals for NX Studio and NX Transfer 2 and get information on each thing about viewing pictures, filters, enhancing pictures, custom picture controls, merge pictures taken with pixel shift, video editing, slideshows, uploading pictures to the web, printing, exporting pictures, and options. And you can get whatever you need, and also menu lists for anything not mentioned in this video. Thank you for watching, and watch my other NX Studio videos and my other videos on Nikon products. Thank you once again.